one side, white-red humans on the other. Like I mentioned, these two have played before. I'm sure they will play again as Detective Tom Ross with his mustache. His facial hair here is ready to start things off. So here we go. A Plains, a Dragon Hunter. And let's watch round number 9, shall we? He's just started things off with a Prairie Stream. Now he's got a Port Town. It entered the battlefield untapped?
Wow.
It has done the impossible.
Dreams do happen. Dreams do come true. Something that could be good for humans going forward, if Spell Queller is as popular as you'd expect, people should probably be moving away from Languish and more to the 5-mana sweepers. Languish is one of the best cards in the format, maybe the best card in the format against mono white humans, and the difference between a 4-mana sweeper and a 5-mana sweeper is huge.
And there's a clash of wills to take care of the 3-man Inspector, but the Kithian did get to slide through. Now Jeff will just play an island and pass the turn back over to the boss. He'll draw. It's an Expedition Envoy. Now remember, Spell Queller is a 2-3, so attacking here is a little bit risky. And we saw that certainly show up last round when Todd Anderson played against the daddy, Kevin Jones. Going to start with Griff's Boon. See if that resolves.
Pretty good test spell here against a Spell Queller.
The follow is unclear. Expedition Envoy. There's an attack for just 3, no Kithian. Stasis Snare is going to take care of that. Okay.
I would consider that a win for Tom.
Yeah. Ojutai's Command the draw. Pass the turn back. Go Tom's way. It's interesting. It is and it isn't, because what Tom was trying to set up there was 3 creatures to go along with Kithian to be able to transform it, and now that's off the table. And Tom has to kind of just tread a little bit lightly. Now here's an Always Watching. You cannot Ojutai's Command that. And that is going to resolve. Here's an attack for 6. They'll be vigilant. And Jeff's going to fall down to 12. I wonder if he's going to cash an Ojutai's Command. Yeah, get the life and draw a card.
I think he has a Planar Outburst in hand, so having land number 5 is the priority here.
Selfless Spirit to draw off the Ojutai's Command. Now he'll draw another card. Rattle Chains. Going to play just a Prairie Stream, pass it back. He also has Archangel Avacyn in hand.
Aha.
Not a lot that Ross can do about that either.
Well, he has another Griff's Boon in hand, so he can make one of his attackers a 4-power flyer. Or he could just only send in Kithian and still has the 3 mana left to make it indestructible.
It's true. If he takes a Kithian out, that's his entire turn.
Right.
Archangel Avacyn being a 4-4, Kithian being a 3-power creature.
But it's not like things get better against the Planar Outburst, Ojutai's Command style deck. You know, Tom might feel like he just has to keep moving in.
Well, he is going to keep moving in. Here's Archangel Avacyn. Trigger. That'll resolve. Probably the Envoy, or do you want to type the mana? Yep, take care of the Envoy.
Yeah, I'm not really looking to give Tom the option if that's all he had to do with this turn anyway.
There's a Hanawir Militia Captain. Pass that turn back. Jeff will take a look. We can do the same at the beginning of your upkeep if you control 4 or more creatures, you transform it. Just a 2-2 for now. Actually, let's make it a 3-3 because of the Always Watching. Archangel Avacyn's going to come across here for 4. There's a Selfless Spirit. Sacrifice. Oh, that's gas. Missed that.
Yep, this speeds up the clock quite a bit.
Yeah, that sure does. Sacrifice that, transform Avacyn, clear up the board, deal 3 more to Tom. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Now here's a Rattle Chains on the end step.
Now it's 2 turns.
Beatdowns. That can turn the corner pretty gosh darn fast. There's Port Town. There's a tapped Port Town. That's more like it. Don't think Tom has a way out of this one. Here's a Thayu's a Tenant.
Still going to keep soldiering on.
Yeah, well, you can play Griff's Boon. Play that to block. There's an Archangel Avacyn. Trigger. And he's going to finish things off that way. Well, I guess actually Tom attacked, so block, attack, kill you. That's going to do it. Jeff Hoogland's going to win game number 1 here over Tom Ross. Split Spirits. Very quickly up a game here over white-red humans. One of the things to note about that, Jeff showing that his deck can turn the corner pretty fast.
Yeah, he was able to turn around and kill very quickly there. Also, very important for him to pick up game 1 in the matchup. because that's the softer part of the matchup for him. Things get a lot better for him post-board.
Take a look at the sideboards here. We'll start with the boss with his 4 Needle Spires and 4 Reckless Bushwhackers. We've seen that for the past month or so. A Griff Spoon, a Silk Wrap, 2 Stasis Snare, 2 Gideon Allies Zendikar, and a Repeal the Abominable.
And I think this is where you see the full anti-control package come in of the 4 Needle Spires to go along with the 4 Battlefield Forges, 4 copies of Reckless Bushwhacker, and 2 copies of Gideon Ally of Zendikar. I think we're going to see all of that come in here. Some of the pump effects, the Griff's Boons can certainly go. There's some easy cuts.
Other side of things here for Jeff, he's got 2 Blessed Alliance, 2 Bygone Bishop, a Confirmed Suspicions, 2 Jace Prodigy, 2 Negate, 2 Planner Outburst, 2 Silk Wrap, 2 Summary Dismissal, 2 of this, 2 of that, 2 of this, 2 of that.
So give me the 2 Planner Outbursts and the 2 copies of Silk Wrap. You can even talk me into Jace in this matchup because it's not like Tom kills creatures very effectively, and Jeff has all sorts of powerful spells to flash back. But definitely the 2 copies of Planner Outbursts to go up to the full playset, along with 2 Silk Wraps for some more early removal.
Well, there's the options there for both players. Let you know what they are working with. 2 of the very best in the SCG Tour, number 1 and number 4, respectively, on our Player of the Year leaderboard. Let's talk someone who's also going to the Players' Championship in Max McVitie and his Clue token, which we're not really going to see a lot of in this particular matchup, but we do see a lot of it in the SCG Tour. Now, Max did win our Season 1 Invitational, so he got $10,000. He got an invite to our Players' Championship. He got a big old trophy, and he got this Clue token here designed for him. Whenever you do win an Invitational here on the SCG Tour, you get to have your likeness on a card, and then people can get it in a couple different ways.
Yeah, for the duration of Season 2, you come out to the SCG Tour, either any of the open events or any of the classics, and you get this token when you register. If you can't make it out to the tour, any order from StarCityGames.com, $5 or greater, will be shipped with this token. Remember that we come out with a new token every Invitational with a new Invitational champion. So if you want to get your hands on the Max McVitie Clue token, either show up to the SCG Tour sometime inside the next month or so, or place an order from StarCityGames.com, $5 or greater.
Congratulations again to Max McVitie. Looking forward to seeing him at the end of the year at the Players' Championship. Jeff as well. And I've got a feeling, just a feeling, that we're going to see Tom Ross.
Yes. Seems very likely.
You think so?
I think it'll be locked up in Season 2.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get the job done. I mean, he's had a really good Season 2. Some time left here, especially this tournament. He's off to a great start, though. He is down a game here as the 32-year-old who currently resides in Roanoke, Virginia. He's got those 13 open top 8s, 4 wins, 2 of which very recently back-to-back in Atlanta and Orlando. 3 invitational top 8s with 2 wins, both of those back-to-back a couple years ago as well in 2014. Now, we read this a little bit earlier, and I'm still having to – we're going to see Tom later this evening. Self-proclaimed best GoldenEye 64 player has beaten people using only his feet.
That is quite the claim.
I'm not sure I believe him.
So I believe the second part for sure. The first part, I'm sure there are some true masters out there.
Okay.
Tom may very well be one of them.
Yes.
But just because you're the best GoldenEye 64 player you've ever encountered does not mean you're the world's best.
That's true. That's true, but he never lacks confidence.
Correct.
We know that about the boss. Along with Michael Majors, puts 8% of all tournament winnings towards buying an NBA Jam arcade cabinet, which
that's great.
I fully approve. And full disclosure, I'll be battling Tom Ross along with you in NBA Jam later this evening.
Yeah. Time to dust off the New Jersey Nets.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Right.
Drazen.
I think he's in the game. I'm not 100% sure.
The greatest European shooter of all time. Sorry, Dirk.
That's bold.
Yep.
That is bold. You sure he's better than Rudy Fernandez? I guess that's not European. That's embarrassing.
Rudy Fernandez?
Oh, maybe.
He's Spanish.
No, he's Spanish.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's in Europe.
Yeah. Thanks. I forgot he was Spanish. Thank you. I know where Spain is. Get the end to start for Tom.
And you can see the Needle Spire in Ross's hand. It means he has brought in the bigger anti-control package with a couple Planeswalkers and the 4 copies of Reckless Bushwhacker.
There's another White Orchid. Beatdowns. Over to Jeff. Now the question is, can Jeff kind of hold up against a start like this? There's a Silk Wrap. Well, it's a good start. Removal spells timely. Anointed Champion's the draw there for Tom Ross.
A lot of lands in hand, but 2 of them are Needle Spires, so it can at least get a little value out of that. Particularly valuable if Jeff taps out for some sort of sweeper.
As always watching. In for 3. Pass the turn back.
And a little bit of an awkward turn there. I think in normal circumstances they would prefer to play Anointer of Champions plus a Needle Spire, but I think he wants to get the Always Watching in play while there isn't an opportunity for Jeff to Spell Queller it.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's just worth too much.
Here's 3 more. There's Anointer. Would you like to Spell Queller this? I believe the answer is maybe.
Yep. Can't get too greedy. It's on Tom's radar. He's not going to let himself get blown out by it. So if you got an opportunity to just cast it because you're going to cast it anyway, might as well get a spell on the way out.
Other Night of the White Orchid, Needle Spires, kick it back over to Jeff. Jeff has land 4. It's Port Town. Reveal an island. Now Tom has to be a little bit wary here. You do wonder if he knows that Jeff has Planar Outburst or not. Now Jeff has access to 4 throughout his 75. He has 1 in his hand right now.
But I think that Tom doesn't even have another creature to play. I think the last card in his hand is just a Needle Spire, so he can keep shipping in these 3/3 first strikers. Jeff really can't block, and he can naturally play around the Planar Outburst by Needle Spire in conjunction with Always Watching.
Very true. Spellcaller is going to block right away. 3 damage will be dealt.
Well, now he knows.
Yeah.
We didn't know before. He knows now.
Yeah, that's weird. The jig is up.
Oh, and Tom just picked up a Gideon, which is excellent. Here is a
that's good.
post-Planar Outburst pickup. Now he's got to think, does Jeff have a counterspell in his hand? And this is really great because it's very likely if Jeff had counterspells like Clash of Wills, he's probably cut him post-board. If Jeff wants to tag this with a Spell Queller, that's fine because it seems so likely that Jeff's play here after that chump block is to untap and play Planar Outburst.
Now here's what's also interesting because, okay, Tom just played Gideon, plus it, pass, plays Needle Spires, which means he can activate the Needle Spires that he has.
Yeah, so, I mean, Planar Outburst just leaves him dead on
board.
board.
It does nothing.
Right.
Planar Outburst actually just does flat nothing, so Jeff doesn't have to show it. So you wonder if Tom knows that he has it. Now, the way that Tom sideboarded, it leads me to believe that, yes, I'm expecting it.
Yeah, and also Jeff's just no reason chump block with the Spell Queller there, I think is too loud of an indicator.
Yeah. You kind of pick up on some of that stuff when you're playing really high-level Magic like these two are, and Jeff is going to try to conceal the information, but Tom has already sideboarded in a way where he's saying, I know you have to have these kind of cards to beat me.
Also, think about Game 1. Jeff showed 2 copies main deck of Avacyn. That's representing a much bigger build with a lot more lands than you might typically associate with a build like this, so it makes sense that he would go to 5-6 mana sweepers for matchups like this.
It's very true. You see the stuff that each player does have access to. Now, the big difference here is that Jeff's on the play, and I think that plays a big role in things.
Well, on the play there, Tom was able to sneak an Always Watching onto the battlefield. That meant his Knight of the White Orchids were 3 power first strikers, and Spell Queller really couldn't do anything. On the play, on Jeff's side, he can protect himself from that, and then he has a 2/3 flyer against a bunch of 2/2 first strikers. It's a big deal.
Well, as these players do get ready here for game number 3, you can certainly chime in and join the conversation over in the feature match area on Twitch, where we have our, of course, exclusive subscribers only chat, custom emoticons and badges, and best of all, you at home get to decide the quarterfinals. So once we do finish round number 15, we take that hour-long break. Halfway through that break, you actually get to decide what the quarterfinal matchup will be and vote. But the only people who can do that are those that are joined to the feature match area, $4.99 a month, twitch.tv/SCG Live. Become a member of our Twitch subscription program. So we get ready here for game number 3 between Jeff Hoogland and Tom Ross, number 1 and number 4 respectively, on the SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard. For Jeff Hoogland, it's been one hell of a year for the 25-year-old from Bloomington, Illinois. 15 open top 8s, 1 invitational top 8, no wins yet in his career. But the stay-at-home dad with 2 awesome sons who are going to be future Magic players and the man who knows a lot about mathematics has really showed that, maybe 2014 was a year where he did a lot of work in the IQ circuit to qualify. 2015, he didn't have a great year, but 2016, he has shown that he's one of the very best that we see here on the SCG Tour.
Yeah, and I think the badge of legitimacy is something that Jeff is really going for. I think he wants that Player of the Year as a validation for the work that he's put in, for his tournament success in competitive fields, not just in these relatively anonymous IQs, but in the Opens, in the Classics against the best competition on the SCG Tour.
What you can't see right now is Todd Anderson is kind of hanging out watching this match. Todd actually picked up a loss last round, so he's going to fall to 7-2 going into day number 2.
Still a fine day 1.
Absolutely. Very much in top 8 contention, would be top 8 number 312 for Todd. I think that's what the graphic says.
Yep.
You see Chris Anderson doing battle against Kyle Bogmees there in the background.
To the Midwest's finest.
Absolutely.
I believe that's Indiana versus Michigan.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Both inferior to Ohio, but that's neither here nor there. Both players will take a look at the opening hand. And again, remember, Jeff will be on the play here. Looks like he's going to keep. Tom will as well. We're underway in game number 3. A plains there for Jeff. Plains for Tom. He'll start it off with a Town Gossip Monger. Jeff with the plains. Selfless Spirit over to the boss. Does he have land number 2? It's a Needle Spires. So the answer is yes, but it's not a land in there. It's the battlefield untapped. Another Town Gossip Monger. Simply pass the turn back. Over to Jeff Hoogland we go. Plains the draw. I think the problem here with Jeff's hand is pretty evident. Missing blue mana. Another Selfless Spirit. Tom will transform his Town Gossip Monger into an Incited Rabble as he does untap. And now he will draw.
It is kind of funny to say, but Incited Rabble has been very impressive against Spirit decks. Just so big.
Yeah. And we're about to get another one out here in just a moment because always watching in combination with Town Gossip Monger is I learned the hard way at SCG Atlanta when I played against Tom. This is a combo.
Yep.
And it's a good one. So there's a double block to take care of the Incited Rabble. That's the best the Selfless Spirits can do right now. Just wants to get that thing off the battlefield. Now he's got to deal with another one. And now all Jeff can do is pass the turn back, having some mana issues as Tom will take his turn. He's drawing a Battlefield Forge here.
Great pickup here is now that's the other red mana to pair with the Needle Spires. So now Tom has the late game set up here. He can insulate himself from a sweeper.
There's a Thalia's Lieutenant. Here's a Reckless Bushwhacker.
Oh.
This is a lot of damage.
Hootalally.
Looks like 9. Actually, more than that. Excuse me. A lot more than that.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is my count.
Yeah, it's a little more than 9. Jeff will draw.
Let's see when they update it. Oh, I missed by 1. Whatever.
It's an island, and he's all done. Tom Ross going to win this match here over Jeff Hoogland, 2-1. White-Red Humans will take care of Blue-White Spirits for Tom. It's an 8-1 start with the deck that he has been crushing people with for a little over a month for Jeff. It's still a very fine day 1, but in spots like this, 8-1 versus 7-2 is a world of difference. It changes how you are going to approach day 2 a little bit, but also, from a mental standpoint, being 8-1 and walking out the door beating Tom Ross, a lot different than being 7-2 and walking out the door with a loss. Especially
with Jeff picking up game 1 there, you had to feel pretty comfortable with him going up to the full play set of Planar Outbursts alongside the Silk Reps. But Tom's sideboard came to bear there, and that's something that I really like about his deck. You look at 4 Needle Spires and you say, is this a reasonable allocation of sideboard slots?